Did you ever think what it would be like traveling along in an open car without a windshield? Boy, you wouldn't go very far before you got all splattered with mud. And you'd have to keep your eyes closed so as not to be blinded by the dust. Well, when you're traveling along in life, Rangers, common sense acts as a pretty important windshield. It lets you see where you're going.
I am the greatest.
Did you ever think what it would be like traveling along in an open car without a windshield? Boy, you wouldn't go very far before you got all splattered with mud. And you'd have to keep your eyes closed so as not to be blinded by the dust. Well, when you're traveling along in life, Rangers, common sense acts as a pretty important windshield. It lets you see where you're going.
I am the greatest.
Good morning. We are back.
Morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Once again, my name is Moy here with Emenda Mass Media Group.
I'm Kim with Emend.
And I am Darlene with Emend.
All right. So we're back, part 4 for Road to Reparations right here in California, Sundays at 10 a.m. PST in the building. But as usual, let's go through some housekeeping and then let's get the show on the road, shall we?
All right.
So if you have yet to see reparationsnow.com or Reparations the documentary, you can go to reparationsnow.com. That's reparationsnow.com. You can also check it out on Tubi as well. I don't know, maybe in September, October-ish, definitely before the holiday season comes up. We're going to start posting extra content that has yet to be seen and released. So go check that out.
Behind the scenes. And I am dropping both links in the chat. So, yeah, right there. Just click the links. Take you right where you need to go.
Exactly. So, yeah. Good old Reparations Now.
Doc.com.
excellent work.
Appreciate that, family. Appreciate it. Which, by the way, Miss Darlene was the associate producer on that. I think that's the first time you've done something like that, right, Darlene?
Oh, of course, you two are pushing me out of my comfort zone, and I appreciate it greatly.
Hey, as we do on Amen the Mass Media Group, often it's just like, let's jump first, and then
Worry about it later, huh?
yeah, parachute later.
Yes.
No, it's all good, family. We try to be somewhat organized before we produce, some stuff. But, sometimes you just have to, get into the mud, get into the roots
Yes.
to start growing some stuff. And then you learn as you go, right?
Yes, and I'm certainly learning a lot of technical things that, I keep pushing back on it, but you keep bringing me forward. So much love and appreciation.
Yeah, I appreciate you. All right. Tuesdays we started July 25th, posting the case of Emmanuel Smith. This is a series for our good brother down in Menlo Park here in California that he's going through. I believe next month, maybe we'll have him back on the platform before he actually goes to his, I believe it's a hearing. I think he needs to show up in the court to see if he's actually going to proceed with the trial in December. So we'll probably have, if he's available, Emmanuel Smith on the platform just to kind of give us the update before he goes into the hearing. But yeah, every Tuesday you should see an update on the series called The Case of Emmanuel Smith. Once again, we'd like to thank Ben and Jerry's, who supported through, it's a fiscal sponsor, right? Let me get the words right. I think it's fiscal sponsor is the correct word. Yes. We'll go to the next
Right. We applied for, and I mentioned this before, they have a grassroots targeted grant. So anybody doing grassroots work should look into it at the Ben and Jerry's Foundation. And ETM is a for-profit entity. So we use our fiscal sponsor partner, Cap City, in order to be able to receive that funding. And like I said, it's a great little grant. If you guys are doing grassroots work, I highly suggest looking into it. And speaking of our fiscal partner and space partner, Capacity, we will be having a reparations information session next Sunday, 1 week from today, at the Del Paso Heights location. So if you're in the Sacramento area, we certainly hope you come out, tell all your friends so we can discuss the next steps in this reparations journey.
Yeah, and if you're in the surrounding areas too, I mean, I think the Bay Area, if you're coming from the Bay Area, or maybe even a little up north from Stockton, Stockton's probably like about probably an hour drive, maybe, depending on how slow or fast you go. And I think, what's the Bay Area, Darlene? It's about what, hour and some change, maybe?
But an hour, but I'm actually in Fairfield. It's not actually considered Bay Area, but it is about this location, probably a 45-minute drive for me, but I will be there next Sunday for sure. 2:00 or before.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, come through, fam, and share this with everybody you know. We really need to get people engaged in this work.
Absolutely.
Did you have something to say, or?
Oh, well, I mean,
steal your thunder.
Absolutely. Nah, you didn't. Never steal. We always like help each other out and add to the thunder. So it's all good. Shout out to CJAC. If you want some information from the Coalition for Just and Equitable California, go to cjac-official.org. That's cjac-official.org. Get more information, sign up for the newsletter. see what's going on right here in California for updates and so forth.
And so after you listen to part 5 next week at 10 o'clock, drive on down. We'd love to see you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes. So if you're on Amazon and you like to go shopping on Amazon, this is free, family. All you got to do is hopefully we'll post that link into the chat. Just go to that link, hit that affiliate link button before you put anything in your cart, and you'll be able to support Amen the Mass Media Group. It's free, and it will help support Amen the Mass Media Group. So yeah, once again, go to that affiliate link and shop away and help us.
Because we know you already do anyways. I've been using this affiliate link and actually been seeing some residuals from it. So please do support through the link. Like Emory said, it's a free way to lend your support to this work.
Absolutely. I think I'm going to drop some music in the background while we're here. So, okay. It's real faint in the background right now that we're doing.
All right, just a little something.
All right.
All right, and why we are here.
4121. Darlene, did you or Ken, would you like to take this one?
Okay. In order to get that reparations bill or bills or legislation passed, we need the votes of 41 assembly members, 21 senators, and that one governor. And that equals California reparations, or what we like to call the reparations equation.
Boom. All right, so there are 5 forms for reparations by international law: restitution, compensation, rehabilitation, satisfaction, and guarantees of non-repetition. Once again, this is on the California Reparations Task Force report on page 17 of the executive summary and page 512, chapter 14 of the International Reparations Framework. All right, once again, the California Reparations overall view, the current recommendation for the 5 harms is health harms, mass incarceration, over policing of African Americans, housing discrimination, unjust property takings by eminent domain, and devaluation of African American businesses. Now, I want to say, if you haven't seen the documentary, which actually is a trip, actually rewatch like the first 10 minutes of the documentary, because I haven't seen the documentary in a minute, because when you're in the creative process, you kind of have to take some time away from your work, and then you can get back to it to look at it. I'm like Erykah Badu. I'm wearing my heart on the sleeve moment now. I'm like Erykah Badu. I'm sensitive about my work. But what was a trip when we talk about businesses? Like when we went up to Weed, we spoke to our good elder up in Weed, a good brother, Mr. Al Bearden. And, as we talk in the documentary about, Black-owned businesses and the lack of support, if any, especially during that time. I mean, right now it's just hard to, start a business in general, but especially for Black businesses. So that was a very interesting, point that I just totally forgot we even talked about in the documentary. And then it being, one of the recommended harms in here just kind of brings it full circle. So
yeah, I mean, the documentary just really does show that the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah. So we did on our first, if you had a chance, go to the first episode of the California Road to Reparations. We talked about the life cycle legislation process. So yeah, go watch that video. Um, I think we might actually revisit this once again just to kind of get a refresher understanding as we go through, the legislators. Just to touch on some points because I think once again we kind of missed some stuff in there, especially in the beginning. But yeah, so we'll go through this again.
Yeah,
And
we'll
can I
circle.
can
Go ahead.
sorry, Kim. Okay, I just wanted to say I just love this graphic. It just reminds me so much. I mean, I'm not gonna I don't want to belittle the information that's in here, of course, because it's so important, and we all need to understand what's happening. But it just reminds me of that old school game Mousetrap. I just love the way it
Mm,
looks, and it has so much valuable information in it that we all need to understand and follow these little paths that we're going through here to get this legislation, reparations legislation, passed.
mm,
Yeah, and I was going to say definitely worth it to circle back and circle back and overview the legislative cycle because you can really never, get too much of this information. Really need to know it like the back of our hands.
Yes. And when you go over it again, once you go over it again, there's just more information that you get from it.
Right,
You
and
know, you
able
again
to
and again
retain it.
retain it. Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, it's actually pretty good stuff here. Pretty good. Hmm.
Mhm.
absolutely. All right, so once again there's 80 members in the state assembly, 33 committees and plus subcommittees.
And you'll be meeting them soon on right here on this very program. But today we are continuing to look at Senate members, which there are 40 and 22 Senate committees. Just a brief overview. Again, we have the districts, accelerated areas mean after the 10-year census zoning. Accelerated areas mean you have two representatives. You've been zoned into an area where there are two representatives seated that are technically your representatives, you're their constituents. And if you're in a deferred area, that means that you are without official representation, and you really need to look closely to see who that interim senator is that is your representation until you get official representation. All right, so I guess we can get into our first senator today.
Well, actually, Kim, before we do that, let me there's actually two of I want to play a video and then let me share my screen real quick.
All right.
Because I just want to make sure that everybody is aware of what's going on with the weather, especially with our
And shout
SoCal
out
family.
to our brothers and
Yeah.
sisters in South California. We're hoping that they stay safe.
Okay, I think I'm ready for everyone here. All right, so yeah, it looks like this climate change is like for real. Down there in Southern California, and I think more specifically in San Diego, but then again, it could obviously reach up past San Diego. I think it's actually going through kind of like Mexico up to California, Southern Cal. Just family, just for our SoCal family, just please be prepared if not already. Hopefully, the word has spreaded down there in SoCal. We just wish everyone down there, to be safe out there. But
Yes, if you're in that area, hunker down and stay inside if you can. In true fashion of unseriousness, some of the comments are like a hurricane in California. Since when we have hurricanes in California, we're not prepared for this. All we know how to do is stop, drop, and roll because we usually get the earthquakes and fires and such.
Yeah. So just real quick, I just want to read some stuff here. It says Governor Gavin Newsom signed an emergency proclamation in San Diego, was in touch with the White House and directed the deployment of over 7,500 boots on the ground, including dozens of water rescue teams and high water vehicles. The storm is expected to peak Sunday across Southern California. Evacuations and rescues are expected according to forecasters.
Yeah, so please stay safe. Yeah, I saw some of the flooded areas were Baja California, like you said, near the border there. Hopefully, by the time it gets, further inland, it will be reduced to a tropical storm rather than a hurricane. But err on the side of safety.
Exactly. All right, and before we go, I'll definitely put, I think on our community tab, there's some information if anybody, needs some shelter or knows anybody that might need some shelter information. So before we go, we'll go ahead and put that link in the chat if anybody needs some assistance. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. All right.
Okay. Thank you, Yumori and Kim, for that. If you have family members down in South California, just give them a call and make sure they're okay. So today we're going to start with Melissa Hurtado. She is in the Democratic Party. She is a California State Senate for District 16. She has a tenure which started 2022 to present, and her term ends in 2026. Her state offices, of course, one is in Sacramento, and she has one in Hanford office and in Bakersfield. Her counties consist of Santa Clara, San Mateo, Santa Cruz. She supports access to clean air and water, food insecurity, inequalities, and environmental policies. Melissa, as I stated, is a member of the Democratic Party, and she represents the 16th district. She assumed office December 5th, 2022, and her current term ends December 7th, 2026. Melissa is also running for election to the U.S. House to represent California's 22nd congressional district. She declared her candidacy for the primary, which is scheduled this March the 5th, 2024. In her district, there is a population of 742,000 plus, which of that is 56.7% are white, 25.4% is Asian, 13.7% is Hispanic, 2.5% is Black, 1.8% is two or more races. And that's pretty much it for her, that we need to watch her if she, what happens, on March the 5th. And other than that, she's good to go. And she voted yes for AB 3121.
All right.
We like the yes votes.
Yes, we do.
The ayes, is that what they call ayes?
Aye.
All right. Aye. All right, so John Laird. John Laird is of the Democratic Party. He's a member of the California State Senate representing District 17. He assumed office on December 7, 2020. His current term ends on December 2nd, 2024. He ran for the election to the California State Senate to represent District 17, and he won in the general election on November 3rd, 2020. Couldn't find a lot of information on him. But one thing he does definitely does support is environmental policy. So he's a big environmental person. So I'm sure he would have a lot to say on what's going on with climate change right here and right now. He represents the Monterey, San Luis Obispo, Santa Clara, and Santa Cruz counties. Total population is around 987,000. Hispanic or Latinos is 33%. 331,000 approximately. White, 494,000, which is 50%. And Black or African American is around 1.82%, landing at a whopping 17,000 Black vote in that district. And currently, his status is NIO. And at that time, he was not in office during that time for AB 3121.
All right. And next up, we have Steve Padilla. He is a Democrat representing Senate District 18. His tenure is 2022 to present. Um, the counties that he represents are Imperial, Riverside, San Bernardino, and San Diego. Also, he is representing some of those deferred districts that we spoke about. I have Indian Wells, La Quinta, Palm Desert, and Rancho Mirage on this sheet, but there were several more. I mean, he's just like representing little pockets of areas. So you really need to pay close attention if you are in a deferred district, because it could be maybe even just a few city blocks. As he was representing at least, 7 or 8 other districts in the deferred districts. He has offices in the capital here in Sacramento, of course, as they all do, Chula Vista, El Centro, Coachella Valley. Let's see, Senate District 18 has a population just under 1,945,914. Of that, the Black African American population is 32,000 plus. So let's see. He again is of the Democratic Party, is a member of the California State Senate, District 18. We went over that. He ran for election to the California State Senate to represent 18. He won. That's why he's in the position he's in now. Padilla also ran for election to the California State Senate to represent District 40. He did not appear on that ballot for the primary on June 2022. Let's see what else. He supports income inequality. He wants everybody to have equal incomes, apparently, job creation, and social justice. And he was not in office at the time of the AB 3121 vote. So we'll definitely need to be reaching out to him to see how he feels about the reparations activity out here.
Okay. The next up is we have Miss S. Monica Lyman. She is of the Democratic Party, and she represents California State Senate District 19. Her tenure is from 2020 to present, and her term ends 2024. Her counties include Santa Barbara and Ventura. And it wasn't a lot on her either. Her issues are very vague. They actually just say that she supports women's issues. What is that? That could be anything in higher education. But I will say that she did win the Women's of the Year award. So, and she is a native of District 19, so she was born, raised, and went to school there. She has offices, of course, in Sacramento. She has a district office in Santa Barbara and one in Oxnard. And for her demographics, she has, there are 42.19% white, 2.0% black, 48.28 Latino, 5.85% Asian, and 0.76 Native Americans. Once again, she is a California State Senator. She was representing District 19. She assumed office December 7, 2020, and her term again ends December 2nd, 2024. She won in the general election on November 3rd, 2020. And another tidbit about her that she was a member of the Santa Barbara Unified Board of Education in California. She resigned after her election to the state assembly, and she was an assembly member when she voted yes on AB 3121.
Thank you for that, Darlene. Yeah, it's interesting how some of these legislators can go from, the Senate to the Assembly, and just kind of tracking, what their voting pattern is, very interesting. So, thanks for that, Darlene. As
You
always.
know,
Let's see here. So we have Caroline Menjivar, who's of the Democratic Party. She's a member of the California State Senate representing District 20. She assumed office on December 5th, 2022. Her current term ends on December 7th, 2026. She has office here in Sacramento, capital, California, and in Van Nuys. The counties that she represents is Burbank and San Fernando Valley. And me having lived in Southern California, 18, 20 years. Shout out to the SoCal family. I briefly lived in Burbank for a minute. So if I was living in Burbank, yeah, she would be probably most likely my representative. I did live in San Fernando Valley area for a hot minute, so she'd probably be my representative there. And I lived in some other parts of Los Angeles as well, down there in South Los Angeles.
Did you know who your representatives were at the time you were living
No.
there? See, that's why this work is important.
Hey, it's straight up important. I was so wrapped up in
important.
other things. But yeah, no. Definitely, definitely. So, shout out to people who are in the political education space and the political space, right? Um, Definitely, once you start getting into this work and this understanding, you definitely appreciate the time and effort, that these people put in to advocate and educate. So shout out to those who've been doing this work.
And also,
Oh,
I just want to say that it's rewarding. Not only that I'm learning, but it's opening my eyes to so many things that I may not have thought about before. So yes,
that is true, and also it gives you a different perspective.
perspective. Hmm.
Yeah, in terms of like what's important to you, what's important to your community, how
Hmm.
others are thinking about your community. And so you can properly prepare, especially with this upcoming legislation that will be life changing. You
Yes,
know,
and how
here
we can effectively make a change for what
facts,
we want.
facts. All right, so she supports many things, but I believe some of her top things that she supports is quality public education, healthcare, and I think they're calling it DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Um, Caroline Menjivar is of the Democratic Party. She's a member of the California State Senate representing District 20. She assumed office on December 5th, 2022. Her current term ends on December 7th, 2026. The estimated population that she represents is around 946,000 people. Wow, I didn't know there was that many people in the Burbank and San Fernando Valley. Um, Hispanic or Latino, 568,000, around 60%.
Mm.
White alone, 23% at 225,000. And Black or African American, around 32,000, which lands us at 3.4% approximately.
Mm-hmm.
And she was not in office at that time for this particular role, so she is an NIO for AB 3121.
These demographic numbers are pretty dismal.
Well, Kim, I was thinking the same thing. In all of them, we have definitely have under 5% in all of the areas so far.
Oh, your experience out there, Yamoya, did you feel represented? Like our group was represented when you lived in the area?
Nah.
Hello?
Nah, not really.
Okay. All right. What do we got here? Scott Wilk. He is a Republican representing Senate District 21. His tenure is 2016 to present. His term ends 2024. He's been in this position for 7 years. Um, let's see here. He represents counties of Los Angeles and San Bernardino. I had to get that information from Wikipedia. He didn't even have that information on his Senate page. So sometimes you really do have to search other sources to find the information that you're looking for. But a good place to start is the official Senate page. Each senator has a page with their information. So the population he represents is just over 1 million. Of that, we have white at approximately close to 40%, equaling 351,000, Hispanic at just over 40%, representing 416,000, and Black people at 11.4%, representing 109,000 people in that district. So, again, the smallest demographic. He has offices in Sacramento, Capital Office, Victor Valley Office, Lancaster Office, and Santa Clarita Office. He supports mortgage paying jobs. That kind of stood out to me. He's like, we don't need no more make gig jobs. We need mortgage paying jobs. So that is definitely admirable. Social compassion is one of his support interests, and creating meaningful solutions. So, I mean, he sounds like someone that should be right in line with what we're seeking as far as reparations. Again, Scott Wilk is part of the Republican Party, is a member of the California State Senate representing District 21, assumed office 2016, current term ends December 2nd, 2024. Wilk ran for re-election to the California State Senate to represent District 21. He won the general election on November 3rd, 2020. And let's see, because that's a little small at the bottom there. Come on, you help me out with the last sentence. It's kind of covered up on my page.
Okay, it says he was a former Republican member of the California State Assembly representing District 38 from 2012 to 2016.
Okay, so he's definitely a career politician. And he did vote yes or aye on AB 3121. So he expressed support then. We have to make sure that that support still stands.
I just want to say, and Darlene Kim, hopefully I'm saying this right, and Tish, love ya. But I think it's the California Lineage Based Society. Is that correct?
No, it's the California Black Lineage Society.
California Black Lineage Society. Thank you for that correction.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to give a shout out, to her, the organization, the fam down there in San Bernardino, and the Inland Empire, because obviously he represents, San Bernardino, and I think a couple slides over, it did mention like Indio, I believe, out there in Coachella. So yeah, definitely got to give a shout out to them. They're doing some great work down there.
We want to let everyone know that Dr. Tish Campbell is in the Reparations Now democracy documentary.
That too.
That too, yeah, she is, and she is did a fantastic job in the
Yeah, giving some real
real
information.
information. Yes.
All right.
Okay. Next we have Susan Rubio. She is in the Democratic Party and she represents California State Senate District 22. Her tenure has been from 2018 to present. Her term ends in 2026 and she's been in that position for 4 years. Of course, she has a state office in Sacramento and one in West Covina district office. Her counties include Santa Barbara and Ventura. She supports improved quality of life, higher education for professional advancement, and again, women's issues. The population is a little over 969,000, with Hispanic at 51.8%, 479,000 plus, Asians at 34.9%, at 323,000 plus, white at 9.4%, 87,000, and again, black low at 1.7% at 15,000. And when I was getting that information, I thought about, okay, she wants to improve the quality of life, but as black people, we're not going to get that at 1.7%. So that's what kind of struck me with that. And again, Susan Rubio, she is with the Democratic Party, and she again is a member of the California State Senate representing District 22. She assumed office on December 3rd, 2018, and again her term ends December 7, 2026. And she's going to be running for election to the U.S. House to represent California at the 31st Congressional District, and she declared her candidacy for the primary that is scheduled for March 5th, 2024. So we definitely want to watch her. And she did vote yes on AB 3121.
Yeah, and I tend to think a little differently. With such small percentage numbers, there is no excuse why we shouldn't, for instance, we're 6%, 6% of California. There's no reason why any Black person wanting a job, a mortgage paying job here in California, should not be able to get one. We're such a small percentage. What's it going to hurt? So it's just
okay, but also, Kim, if you're 1.7, you become invisible. It all depends on what type of political strength that they have with that small number.
Right, I get it, but I'm just saying, the powers that be, if they really wanted to, make some improvements to the African American descendant community, it would have been just very easy. There are so few of us that they could have, uplifted our communities long ago, just by, giving us jobs and loans and mortgages and things of that nature. I mean, we're such a small percentage. I mean, what is it to you besides anti-Black racism?
Well, I was going to say we can never forget that exists. I don't care how small the percentage is. So,
right.
Yes, right. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. All right, let's keep this show marching, shall we? Rosalisi Ochoa Bo is of the Republican Party. Is a member of the California State Senate representing District 23. She assumed office on December 7th, 2020. Her current term ends on December 2nd, 2024. Counties she represents are portions of Riverside, San Bernardino, and Los Angeles. She supports stronger schools, lower taxes, more affordable home prices, reverse the cycle of increased government intrusion. She has offices in Sacramento and Redlands. And the population, according to the 2020 census, was around 748,000. 44% white, 24% Hispanic, and 5.89% Black or African American at 44,000. And anything else on her? Not really. I thought though, like at least I can say probably more with some confidence that at least I felt like she had more like information about her.
Mm.
I don't know what that means in terms of how she will not vote or will vote on AB 3121. But yeah, obviously she wasn't in office then. Her current status is NIO, but at least there was some information where I felt like, oh, okay, you know, um, for people that are in her district, you can definitely check her out and hit her up. But yeah, it's interesting just going through this process and look at some of the demographics, um, and just kind of note just real quick in terms of like Black people in all these districts. I mean, like we're there. Even though it might be a small percentage, like especially in some of these other districts where you think, man, they probably like no Black people there at all. It was probably like 0%. We do have little representation. So hopefully the word is spreading, about reparations throughout California, and everybody is aware of it, not just Black people, but especially, Black people.
Well, Moria, that's why it's going to be so important that we take all this on the road and reach out to some of these communities, that may or may not know. I mean, we have people right here that are unaware of what's going on.
That's facts. Like the other day, I ran across somebody, and was talking to him, gave some information. Totally didn't know. He was just like, "Oh, thanks, man. I had no idea, that this was happening. Reparations Task Force wrapped up, whole nine." So yeah, for everyone watching right now, please spread the word. If you're in California, if you're not in California, because as the saying goes, so goes California, so goes the nation.
All right. Next up, we have, let's see, Senator Ben Allen of the Democratic Party, representing District 24. His tenure is 2022 to present in that position. Term ends 2026. He represents Los Angeles County, office at the Capitol, and then just noting a district office. Is that Redondo Beach? It's kind of washed out there. But he does have a district office, and you can go to his official page that I told you about on the Senate website to check out all of his information. The district he represents, 24, is just under 1 million people, of which we have about 10% white population at 126,000, Hispanic at over 60% population, so they make up 620,000 of the population in his District 24, and Black people again at a paltry 3.2%, 30,000, approximately 30,000 Black people in his district. Let's see, he supports systemic inadequacy reform. So he claims that he wants to reform some of these systemic systems that we see. Environmental protection is one of his issues, and access to the arts in schools and underserved communities. And in doing his research, I did discover that he is a member of the California Film Commission. Yamori and I have testified in front of that body before as ETM Media, looking for demographic information as it regards to the film industry, which they didn't have a lot of. So we will definitely be reaching out to Ben Allen with our thoughts on how to improve, Friedman demographics in the film industry. Ben Allen, again, he is in the Democratic Party. District 24, assumed office December 5th, 2022. Current term ends December 7th, 2026. Ran for re-election to the California State Senate to represent District 24, and he won, which is why he is in the position that he's in. And he voted yes on AB 3121. So we did have his support, at least on the study and development of reparations proposal. So we have to make sure that, he hasn't flip-flopped on that stance.
Absolutely. All right. So I think that's all our senators today. No? Are we?
I think that's it for today. Yeah, that's this batch.
Well, let's go through some of these comments before we leave out of here and let everyone have a wonderful day. As usual, what's up, Mike in the building? Always bringing that fire. Appreciate you.
I believe from Tulsa, fire from Tulsa, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think we're going to get to that. I think it's in the next couple comments. Greetings at Emin the Mass Media Group. How are you? Miss Caroline Quinn, we're doing well. How are you? I am in SoCal and it's raining, but nothing out of the ordinary. Quite mild now, Los Angeles area. Well, thanks for the update, Caroline. We appreciate that. Still stay safe down there. I think, Darlene, you have some relatives down there too, right?
No, yes. My mother, my daughter, and my sister, and my niece, her 2 kids, her husband, and slew of cousins all over the place. So I have been in touch with them, and they are hankering down, and we're going to be communicating throughout the day.
Well, it's good to know the conditions are mild. Thanks for the update, Carolyn.
Yes, thank you for that. All right, yeah, it's a lot of folks I didn't want to hear nothing about no climate change. Well, bless every. Might be coming with that game, boy. Might be coming with that information game, the word game. Yeah, that is true. Greetings from Tulsa, where we had a derecho and inland hurricane. Wow. 2 months ago that left 200,000 in Tulsa without power for almost a week.
Wow. Glad you made it through that one.
Jeez.
Shout out to Tulsa.
Definitely a shout out to Tulsa, man.
I'm still upset about what they're doing to the ancestors regarding.
Yeah,
I just can't.
Yeah, well, to me, that's what they want to do to us. They want us to die off, but we're not going to let that happen. That's not going to happen. No.
Can these yes voters help to convince their fellow senators to vote to support reparations?
I mean, well, that's definitely what we're hoping, and maybe we'll do a rundown before we, in this series completely about, which caucuses that these members sit on, because a caucus is a body, like you have the Jewish caucus, Hispanic caucus, Black caucus, etc. And, we're hoping to convince them to vote as bodies on these issues. So yeah, we hope that, they can convince some of their fellow members. Good question.
Excellent. Y'all's districts, though, is this gerrymandering?
Absolutely. They out here playing games in Sacramento, as a matter of fact. I just found out that I now live in Meadowview district.
You live in the View?
I live in the View.
Well, what did you think you lived in? What was your...
I thought I lived in Southland Park. But I've been redistricted to Meadowview, which is a, traditionally disenfranchised area. So, it's just a name change, but still I was pretty surprised to find out that I lived in Meadowview.
Shout out to the View.
Yes. That's why
Well,
it's
and
important
even
to
the
find
View
out.
is being gentrified. It used to be a Black hood, but now it is a lot of Hispanics out there. So,
It is changing, transforming as
mhm,
we speak.
mhm.
This is a lot of work. No wonder there are so many uninformed in our demos. Brother Mike. Yup. True on that. Um. All right. So let's see here.
All right, and I'm gonna post this. Find your
I
legislative. Oh,
I
did you
just
just
did,
post
Kim.
that? Okay,
Yes, yes.
great, great, great.
All right. Wonderful.
Mhm, mhm.
All right. Let's see what's next. This is a lot of work. No wonder there's okay. Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
That's
but thank you, Black Magic Mike, and we appreciate you coming every week. It's you know what, it is a lot of work, but like I said earlier, it's just been rewarding for me. It's just like, wow, eye opener, what we need to do.
And knowledge
So
is power.
yes,
Yeah, knowledge
yes,
is power.
power, yes.
mortgage paying jobs. That's what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. All right. 63 people. 41, 21, 1. 63 people deciding for 3 million. What y'all think about
Mm.
that?
Hmm. Well, that is the
Well, we
formula.
need those 3 million people to get involved. I know
Yeah,
that. I mean, but 3 million people putting pressure on 63
three
people is the
people
way we need to be thinking about it.
letting your voice be heard for real.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Reparations now was the bomb.
Yes, yes, yes.
Well,
Thank you.
tried our best. I mean, with the resources in the skill sets, and shout out to everybody who was involved with it. I mean, it was definitely a team effort. Everybody who was involved with it. I think maybe one of these days, if we ever get time, we'll kind of do maybe like a throwback behind the scenes
Mm.
kind of journey, through the process of filmmaking, and also um just kind of what we went through the journey. I mean, man.
Mm.
I mean, Kim and Darlene, sometimes we look back in retrospect, in hindsight. Man, I'm not even going to front. There was sometimes I was like, y'all, man,
Mm.
I'm not even one to trying to go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially, man, when your funds be like looking kind of real tight. You're like, man, I don't even know if we can get out there. But, we did it, and we were able to document history. So thanks once again, Black Magic Mike,
Yes,
for that wonderful comment. We always appreciate you, brother.
yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, every public library needs that in their collection. Well, hopefully we'll see.
Yes, yes.
Hopefully we will.
And the 1,000-page report. They need that
Mm-hmm.
in the
Absolutely. That 1,000-page report is definitely needs to be in there
and that
as
needs
well.
to be in the school curriculum too. So
Shout out to Pretty Lady T. Thank you for commenting and joining. Reparations $100 houses anywhere in California, 40 acres and a mule.
Mm-hmm.
That part, Darlene. I'm just gonna quickly go to.
they don't care. Who's
That whole
they?
part.
All right, and they have successfully divided the numbers to be inconsequential.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. And wasn't I just saying that we should do a project and really find out where the Black communities are, because we've just been dispersed everywhere.
Right, and the
You know,
redistricting is part
it's
of
just
that. I mean,
yes.
on the ballot, I was prepared to vote for a Black council member whose priorities, I believed in. She was about small business and all this and that. And when I get my ballot, I see that I'm redistricted into, like I said, Meadowview. And I have another council member on the ballot, and he was running unopposed, and he's a legacy candidate, which,
Mm.
I think I'm going to have to run against him the next cycle because I don't know why he is running unopposed for so long.
It's easier that way.
All right. So once again, go to Amazon shop and support and in the Mass Media Group on that affiliate link. Find your rep. Find your rep.legislature.ca.gov. Yes, we'll post this real quick. 412011 equals California reparations. And yes, I love hearing y'all voices and perspective. Well, brother,
Thank you,
same here, man.
All
Thank you.
right. Well, I know we've got to do our wrap up, our tally on where we're at.
All right. Can the racial dot map help, Darlene? Good question.
That's a good question.
Maybe.
Possibly, yes, maybe. But the thing of it is that got me to thinking about it because I was fortunate, and I use that word with reverence, to grow up in two black neighborhoods and one official black neighborhood. So I was around black people in my formative years, and there was just nothing like it. And that's what I miss. And I was telling Kim and you more before, whenever my time is, I would like to be able to recreate that for myself. I'm not talking about going back to Jim Crow because we know how awful that was, but I want to live around my people, and raise my grandchildren around my people. And I just, oftentimes when I speak to my brother and sister, we always like go down memory lane about that time. And we just don't have that anymore.
Yeah, we definitely need our enclaves
we
and
need our
watering
own.
holes back.
Yes. As Reverend Brown talks about so often.
The watering hole.
The watering holes. So it's just important. And that's one of the things I would like to see, with my reparations personally, what I would like to do. So.
All right. Yeah, I think in the documentary also Friday Jones, who is a representative. I think she's the Los Angeles Reparations
Commission.
Yes.
Commission, yeah.
So I know she sits on there as well, and she even mentioned in the documentary about redistricting specifically in Los Angeles.
It's a problem. It's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So all right, so let's get the recap here, and then let everyone go on with their day. But as usual, we appreciate you. All right, so Brian Dell once again voted yes. Mike McGuire, yes. Bill Dodd, which we had to correct last week. Thank you for that. Voted yes on AB 3121. Maria Alvarado Gill, NIO. Excuse me. Susan Talamontes Eggman. Roger, I think it's an NVR.
Let me see.
No vote reported.
No vote recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so no vote recorded. Roger Niello, NIO. Steve M. Glazier, yes. Angela Ashby, NIO. Nancy Skinner, yes. Aisha Wahab, NIO. Scott Weiner, Y. Shannon Grove, NVR. Josh Becker, NIO. Anna M. Caballero, yes. Dave Cortez, NIO. Melissa Hurtado, yes. John Laird, NIO. Steve Padilla, NIO. Monique Limon, yes. Caroline Minjavar, NIO. Scott Wilk, yes. Susan Rubio, yes. Rosalicia, I think. Ochoa Bo and was NIO, and Benjamin Allen, yes.
We have yet to have a direct no.
That is true. So
yeah, we don't have a direct. It's just a little confusing with that no vote recorded.
Well, I can help shed some light on
sister.
Why we're not seeing no's in the Senate, because everybody who voted no in the Senate is currently no longer in political office.
Oh, okay.
So we don't have to worry about them no more. And I won't even bother to say their names. But as you can see, with the black highlights. Anybody you see on this slide here who has a black highlight is no longer in office, and we're not going to, they did vote no, and we're not going to concern ourselves with them anymore. But who we will concern ourselves with is Megan Dale, who voted no. She's District 1. Vince Fong, District 32, voted no. James Gallagher, District 3, also a no vote. Devon Mathis, District 33, also a no vote. Jim Patterson, District 8, a no vote. And Marie Waldron, a no vote in District 75. Those are the people who still are representing in the California State Legislature who voted no. And then we have Kevin Kiley in the U.S. House, District 3, and Jay Obernolte in the U.S. House, District 23, who voted no. So just, keep them in the back burner of your mind in case their names come up and you see them in congressional votes. Just know how they voted when they were part of the California legislature on AB 3121.
And also, Kim, we will let everyone know that these are our California State Assembly members who we will be featuring after.
Yes, we'll be meeting these naysayers after we finish up with the senators.
Absolutely. All right, family. Well, that's it. Once again, thank you for your time. And if you have yet to check out the side project, Free Dome X, please check that out. I greatly appreciate your support on that. It's a little side project. I don't know anything else, ladies, before we go that you wanted to say.
No, just thank everyone for showing up today as always, and we appreciate every single one of you.
Right, and I guess I just would like to say one more time with our meeting coming up next Sunday. If you're in the Sacramento area, can share this out to people in the region. Please screenshot and share this information out. We want to spread the word on the next steps on reparations to as many people as possible. So share.
Share. All right, family, on that note, once again, stay educated and stay informed, and peace and reparations.
To slay any opponent that's up in our way. Look at Malcolm X and his delivery. Any debate, he would make them pay. One round, eat them up like souffle. Boots on the ground from the past and today. Tradition must carry on every single day. Cut the check. Cut the check. Cut the check. Cut the check. Black August. 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 On this month, we have the rise of the Phoenix. George Jackson. From the day that we landed from Arthur Ashe, when the Wimbledon game birthed the Henrietta Lacks. Second, J Baldwin born with the fire next time. 1964 Jersey race, struggle is sublime. Speech of Frederick Douglass, no struggle is no progress. Florida gets rid of slavery, it was grotesque. Emancipation Day for the Black Creek Nation. Louis Armstrong born the great trumpet sensation. Andrew Johnson denied the freedmen. Confiscation Act tried to patch the bleeding. Cali House and the ex-slave pension. North Pole Trailblazer Matthew Hickson. 9. Whitney Houston turned the Star-Spangled out. 10. Isaac Hayes with the stars, no doubt. 11. Watts rebelled, Black Chicago caught hell 12. With the infamous riot tales. As we say, we go black, 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 black. Here we go, black.